on TVJ, a former police officer who is now calling for compensation from the state because he said he was attacked by Rastafarians in the riots, and they're calling it riots by Rastafarians. Now, how outraged are you, my brother Miguel?
Very outraged.
That right in front of us, history is being rewritten by a major and a leading media house in Jamaica in such a blatant and disrespectful way to Rastafarians. How outraged are you, my brother?
I'm outraged because I see his talk as the state answer to our march. It is like the state now using that strategy to counter our march by saying that they want compensation. That is their way of counteracting what they saw on Thursday. So that now has enraged I and I to the point where it means now that if the state has answered in that manner, then we know it makes it duty bound on us to either increase and intensify our efforts now to get damages locally, to get the damage locally, but the channel through which we have to go through will have to be internationally.
I want you to talk to us about that, Miguel. I don't know, I don't take away interview Muta, but you don't mind. I need to ask Miguel to talk to us a little bit more about taking this internationally. What does that mean?
We look at the Americas, they have human rights systems set up within the Americas aspect. Americas meaning North America, Central America, and South America. That's one avenue that we can go through. There's also the international court aspect. For years, we have been blocked of going to the international court because usually to get a petition there, it has to be sponsored by a government. And no government in Jamaica is going to sponsor Rastafari to go there against them. But we have to look at precedents over the years. And I recall years ago that SWAPO, the Southwest People's Organization, when SWAPO was fighting for the liberation of Namibia, and incidentally, Namibia, it's not as far because Namibia was actually a place that the Honorable Marcus Garvey had asked the United Nations to give Namibia to the UNIA. That's another topic.
Yes.
You know, but the example I want to mention is that SWAPO was given a voice at the United Nations because it was felt that they were representing the legitimate interests of the people of Namibia. And there are other examples that I'm looking at to see how Rastafari now, outside of the Jamaica government, can get certain petition before these international bodies.
Because we've been hearing, Miguel, and we heard from the public defender that the only way to go is through the public defender's office. But the public defender's office is obviously overwhelmed with so much. I mean, there's been nothing in Tivoli, and a lot has been done on Tivoli in terms of the inquiry. But much less 50 years after Coral Gardens.
Well, you know, sir, it would be naive of the Rastafari community, after seeing what happened in the Tivoli Garden vibes, to really believe, say, the public defender will work right now in the interests of Rastafari. I think it is incumbent on Rastafari now, and we are called upon Miguel Lan as a Rastaman and a lawyer to really see how him can really make this thing move forward, because it gets stagnant with the public defender. You know, me I say no, and Miguel, me I look on you know as my brethren for cuss him too, you know. Because we are seeing say something have to give. And Miguel right now is the biggest liar in a Rastafari. And who know the public defender seem to be saying that me go hold on for Miguel. Me want to hold on for Miguel too. So me don't know how Miguel see it, because I'm ready for cuss Miguel.
No, and I'm in agreement with you that this is why I'm calling on the other youth them now. You don't have to be a lawyer, because the research, and this is why my speech the other night says we need the historians, we need the thinkers to come together with the lawyers, and therefore that's how we formulate our strategies from now on. Sister Andrea, Brother Muta, not just Coral Gardens, there's so much other aspects of Rastafari that needs now. We have some land issue within Rastafari, lands which the community have occupied for years. But we saw what happened with Pinnacle. Howell and them had organized it, bought it, been on it for years, but in the final analysis, they never secured the title. And we don't want that to happen to several of our Rastafarian communities that have occupied land, but we don't have the title. So even those areas that we need to work on, which has been highlighted because of the whole Coral Gardens situation.
And this is something that you, Jerry, this is something that you yourself have been talking about seriously and have been underscoring that the issue of landlessness, it is a Rastafari issue, but it is a wider Jamaican problem that we need to make part of our own call for justice.
Yeah. I'll just say, the basic issue is of landlessness, and as Miguel was pointing out, not only have Rastafarians occupied various pieces of land, but have occupied it undisturbed, uninterrupted for those years. So whether them did buy it or not, from it was undisturbed and uninterrupted several years going on. Them have a claim, and they must consolidate that claim.
Prescriptive title.
Yes.
In other words,
down to the 12th tribe of Israel. Buy a place up a Hope Road.
Yes.
And buy it in the name of one of the members who was the head of the organization. And all know them not correct it. And the family of that man can come take it away. And they must correct them thing there.
Yes.
Apart from that, people, Rastafarian have occupied place undisturbed for many years.
Yes.
And eventually people might want to push them out.
We see it happening on the Coptic Church too.
Yes.
Because the Coptic Church had a lot of Rastafarians in it.
Yes, and as Sister Andrea was suggesting, we have to take common cause with all of the people of Jamaica. Because why Rastafari was a danger, and why from 1932 them start take legal action against we, is because we was representing the rest of the people. And we were stirring the rest of the people about them rights, and about injustice in Jamaica, and about the alternative kingdom and the alternative land. So the landlessness, the siege of land. First thing them seize two land. Them seize the island them down here. And then them seize piece of Africa, little piece enough. Then them start transport with. And when Africa was weakened, them seize every territory in Africa, leave one part of Africa was not seized by European, Ethiopia.
Yes.
And just in time, Rastafari made the link with Ethiopia, the last foothold will never get seized. And from this it start turn back. And so from this we start reclaim Africa now. It is the rise of the Rastafari movement in 1930. Start to reclaim Africa along with Selassie in Ethiopia, have the last foothold. And it go right back till nominally speaking and politically we reclaim every state in Africa. But land-wise, the white man them still have a whole heap of property there. And in Jamaica, we have never been compensated. We don't want to stay here, say no, but the entire land of Jamaica is owed to it. And that's why we want to stay here. But the whole land of Jamaica is a little small part of reparation till we're ready to move. And we have common cause to the people of Jamaica. Because as long as people don't have land, they will have to leave them home and go to work for $4,000 a week. When you have land, you don't go a garment factory, and you don't go a Chinaman wholesale. And we're not talking about Chinese Jamaica, you know. Because enough of Chinese Jamaica are Rasta too. We're talking about the new Chinese. You would never go in wholesale, go work for $5,000 a week if you did have a piece of land. So we have common cause to the people of Jamaica that landlessness is a question, and every human being on the face of the earth have a right to a living space. Most human beings in the world don't know them have a right to piece of land, you know.
We can't live in the air.
No, not even white people. Most white people don't know them have a right to piece of land. Them have right to life and freedom and all them things, but them don't know them have a right to land.
A right to housing.
Right to, yes, because we never pay no rent. We must not be forced to pay no rent. You must only pay rent if you don't want to live for your farmland and you want a townhouse.
Yes, Muta, go ahead.
You know, if people study history, we have to use history for mark that. If you look at history, every war that has been fought on earth was fought for land.
Yes, yes.
Even when them say it's something else them I work with, them fight for land. The Crusaders going to Jerusalem to fight for that land. The British send Russians and Germans in Israel for the land. Land is a basis of power.
Yes, I am.
If you don't have any land, you don't have any power. And that is really what is taking place, because when the Europeans go to Africa, it's land them go there far. When them come to the Caribbean, them want land for plant cane, to sustain them addiction to sugar and rum. So we have to take this land thing very serious. It's not a joke thing.
And Muta, even as we talk about taking the land thing very serious, the first thing is that land, you can't afford to buy land in Jamaica. The second thing is that now we hear about a land tax that is about to take effect April 1, if it not take effect already, which is going to make it impossible for a lot of Jamaicans who already own land to maintain that land, to pay the taxes of that land, much less to buy land, talk about transfer tax and so on. So what do we do about this situation? Do we just talk about this situation? What do we do about this?
Well, it's the question that Rasta asks the people, because you know, Rasta have a history of just capture land. Him look here, him just go upon the land, and whosoever will may run him, but you know them have a little thing with them and say, if you're upon a land at a certain length of time, and nobody don't come claim it, you can go down at the tax office or the land place and figure out who for land it is and pay the tax on it, and you control it. Apparently that no runs good again. I don't know how, I don't know if the lawyer can tell me.
No, it still exists, but the process, they make the process in such a way that most of the time you have to go to a lawyer.
Yeah.
So that even if it's there written, but you go to a lawyer, and once you have paid the taxes and you have the tax receipt, the next step is to have it surveyed. It must be surveyed because on the title, the law says that the boundary must be definite. Yeah. And the only way it can be definite and certain is when it has been surveyed. And that usually is a problem because the surveying tends to cost quite a bit of money and a lot of times. But it is something we have to start. We have to use the mechanism. You know, Rastafari have occupied lands, and when the surveying part comes, when we hear the cost of the survey, it has been deterred us.
Astronomical, yeah.
So if we never have to keep shows like this, we keep first night or other events to get that money, to get it surveyed, these are things we have to do. But regarding Coral Gardens, because many people have said, and I hear it Thursday, that it was a fight over land. You know, even in Kingston there, they're saying that it was a land fight and so on. No, it was not a fight over land at all. It was one of dignity, integrity, and our culture that was at stake. The land part of it, of the occupation, the brothers had already occupied the hills and was working it. No, they wanted to get it from them, but that wasn't the core. The core was really that how can we now launch an attack and stamp out the philosophy of Rastafari?
You're inside of the IrieFm forum running Africa, and we're going to go to a quick break. Just before we go to the break, though, let me just have Muta finish a point and let us go to that quick break.
Yeah, what we are saying is that when Miguel talk about the core of Rasta, we have to understand how the government at the time was very fearful because of certain events that take place all in Africa. Because remember, them did have certain things that go on in Africa. And when the visual come across to Jamaica, and even in Dominica, if we talk about Dominica, when Jamaican and Dominican start to see these last-said man run up and down the place that talk about freedom and some black and white oppressor, it's like it get these people so scared because them feel say that was what going to happen, so
Absolutely.
The man them want to look on these mama people are going to rise up against the state. And
right.
So them right away now have to crumble the thing before. It's like you kill the thing before it starts to
yes, go. Because the British had been defeated in Kenya by the